Good day, everyone. This is the report of our group, and today we're going to discuss the content of Chapter 3 and 4 of the National Building Code of the Philippines.
Section 301 Building Permits. No person, firm, or corporation included any agency or instrumentality of government shall erect, construct, alter, repair, move, convert, or demolish any building or structure or cause the same to be done without first obtaining a building permit. Therefore, from the building official assigned in the place where the subject building is located or the building work is to be done. Under the Section 301, in this code, no of the building code before commencing any work related to construction, alteration, repair, movement, conversion, or demolition of a building of construction, a building permit must be obtained. Section 302 Application for Permits. In order to obtain a building permit, the applicant shall file an application, therefore in writing and on the prescribed form from the office of the building official. Every application shall be provide at least the following information: a description of the work to be covered by the permit applied for. Second, certified true copy of the TCT covering the lot on which the proposed work is to be done. If the applicant is not the registered owner, in addition to the TCT, a copy of the contract of the lease shall be submitted. Third is the use of occupancy for which the proposal work is intended. Fourth is estimated cost of the proposed work to be submitted together with such application are at least 5 sets of corresponding plans and a specification prepared, signed and sealed by duly registered mechanical engineer in case of mechanical plants, and by a registered electrical engineer in case of electrical plants, except in those cases exempted or not required by building official under this code. Here in this section, according to Section 302 of the Building Code, a written application must be submitted to the building official's office to obtain a building permit. The official must include the purpose of the work, verification of property ownership or lease, intended usage of the space, and an estimate of the cost. A licensed professional engineer must also sign and seal the plan and specifications. Section 303 Processing of the Building Permit. The processing of building permit shall be under the overall administrative control and supervision of the building official and his then technical staff of qualified professionals. In processing an application for a building permit, the building official shall see to it that the applicant satisfies and conforms with approved standard requirement on zoning and land use, line and grades, structural design, sanitary and sewage, environmental health, electrical and mechanical safety, as well as with other rule and regulation promulgated in accordance with the provision of this code. As per Section 303, the building official and his qualified technical staff are in charge of administering the processing of the building permits. The building official must confirm that the applicant meets all requirements, including those related to zoning, structural design, safety, and health regulation, and more.
Another important part of Chapter 3 of the National Building Codes of the Philippines is the Section 304, which is the issuance of building permit. In this section, when satisfied that the work described in an application for building permit and the plans and specifications submitted therewith conform to the requirements of this code and other pertinent rules and regulations, the building official shall, within 15 days from payment of the required fees by the applicant, issue the building permit applied for. In addition, the building official may issue a permit for the construction of only a part or portion of a building or structure whenever the plans and specifications submitted together with the application do not cover the entire building or structure. Furthermore, approved plans and specifications shall not be changed, modified, or altered without the approval of the building official, and the work shall be done strictly in accordance thereto. The figures that are currently flashed in the screen are the standard building permit sign. So the owner or permittee shall put a building permit sign which complies with the prescribed dimensions and information, which shall remain posted on the construction site for the duration of the construction. This time we are going to be familiarized with Section 305, which discusses the validity of building permits. It is indicated here that the issuance of a building permit shall not be construed as an approval or authorization to the permittee to disregard or violate any of the provisions of this code. In addition, whenever the issuance of a permit is based on approved plans and specification, which are subsequently found defective, the building official is not precluded from requiring permittee to effect the necessary corrections in said plans and specification, or from preventing or ordering the stoppage of any or all building operation being carried or thereunder which are in violation of this code. Furthermore, a building permit issued under the provisions of this code shall expire and become null and void if the building or work authorized therein is not commenced within a period of 1 year from the date of such permit, or if the building or work so authorized is suspended or abandoned at any time after it has been commenced, and this is for a period of 120 days.
Under Section 306 is the non-issuance, suspension, or revocation of building permits. The building official may order or cause the non-issuance, suspension, or revocation of building permits on any or all of the following reasons or grounds. First, errors found in the plans and specifications. Second is if you provide an incorrect or inaccurate data or information. And third is non-compliance with the provisions of this code or of any rule or regulation. Notice of non-issuance, suspension, or revocation of building permits shall always be made in writing, stating the reason or grounds therefore. Dito sa Section 306, sinasabi na para di masuspend at di mabawi ang building permits na meron ng client ay dapat lahat ng nakalagay na information dito ay tama. Walang errors or problems na nailagay sa plans and specifications, and also kinakailangan rin na sundin yung mga rules and regulations as well as the terms and conditions or requirements na nasusulat sa building codes. Section 307, Appeal. Within 15 days from the date of receipt of advice of the non-issuance, suspension, or revocation of permits, the applicant or permittee may file an appeal with the Secretary, who shall render his decision within 15 days from date of receipt of notice of appeal. The decision of the Secretary shall be final, subject only to review by the Office of the President. Sa Section 307, sinasabi na sa loob ng 15 days na na-receive ng client yung receipt of advice or notice about sa non-issuance, suspension at sa pagbawi ng building permit, maaari pa siyang mag-file ng appeal or petition about dito. Then yung decision ng Secretary ay mag-finalize lamang if na-review na ito ng Office of the President.
Section 308, Inspection and Supervision of Work. The owner of the building who is issued or granted a building permit under this code, such architect or civil engineer may or may not be the same architect or civil engineer who is responsible for the design of the building. Licensed architect or civil engineer shall submit the logbook duly signed and sealed to the building official. So first, let us differentiate between the supervision and inspection. The supervision gives oversight to subordinates to ensure that they execute the tasks assigned for those construction workers, while the inspection is applied on scheduled time frames or per complaints. So according to this section 308, the civil engineer and architect are responsible for the building since sila yung may mga kaalaman with regards to the building plans or sa mga detalyong proseso ng isang proyekto. Also, it is mentioned that under this code, dapat ang licensed architect or civil engineers ay mag-submit ng logbook duly signed and sealed to the building officials as a part of the requirements kapag nag-undertake ng isang project. Or also, it will serve as their permit to undertake the full-time inspection and supervision of the construction work. The next is the Section 309, which is the Certificate of Occupancy. No building or structure shall be used or occupied, and no change in the existing use or occupancy classification of a building or structure. A certificate of occupancy shall be issued by the building official within 30 days. So under this section, sinasabi na ang certificate of occupancy shall be posted or displayed in the conspicuous place on the premises and shall not be removed upon under of the building officials. Dahil once na nagkaroon ng inspection or lumibat yung mga building officials sa mga construction sites at hindi nila nakita na nakapaskil or nakapost yung certificate of occupancy, may we pay the penalty or magkaka-encounter tayo ng mga circumstances na or we are committing a illegal offense once na hindi natin sinunod kung ano yung naka-undergo sa certificate of occupancy, which is part of this section. We always remember that this is required sa mga construction industry dahil ang mga purpose nito is to obtain the said permit to confirm that the house or the building is in a good condition or suitable in a living condition considering its compliance to the provision of the code and to the submitted plans and specifications. So it also mentioned na once we get the certificate of occupancy, it will be issued within 30 days.
Section 401, Types of Construction. For purpose of this code, all building proposed for construction shall be classified or identified according to the following types. Type 1. Buildings shall be of wood construction. The structural element may be any of the material permitted by this code. Type 2. Buildings shall be of wood construction with protective fire-resistant materials and one are fire-resistive throughout, except that permanent non-bearing partition may use fire-retardant treated wood within the framing assembly. As Section 401 classified the construction types permitted under the building code, Type 1 construction are constructed solely using wood, while Type 2 structure combine wood and fire-resistant materials with a 1R fire-protecting rating. Non-structural partition in Type 2 building may be made of fire-retardant treated wood.
For the continuation of Chapter 4, we have 3 remaining types of construction that we must be familiarized with. The third type is the type of construction which are mainly constructed using masonry and wood construction. So the structural elements may be any of the materials permitted by this code, provided that the building shall be 1 hour fire resistive throughout. In addition, exterior walls should be of incombustible fire-resistive construction. On the other hand, we have the type 3, which is the type of construction which are mainly constructed using steel, iron, concrete, or masonry construction. So the walls, ceilings, and permanent partitions should be of incombustible fire-resistive construction except that permanent non-bearing partitions of 1 hour fire-resistive construction may use fire-retardant treated wood within the framing assembly. Lastly, we have the fifth type, which is the type of construction which is mainly fire-resistive. It doesn't have any wood construction. Therefore, the structural elements should be of steel, iron, concrete, or masonry construction as well. And the walls, ceilings, and permanent partitions shall be of incombustible fire-resistive construction as well.
Section 402, Changes in Types, states that no change shall be made in the type of construction of any building which would place the building in a different subtype or type of construction unless such building is made to comply with the requirements for such subtype of construction, except when the changes is approved by the building official upon showing that the new or proposed construction is less hazardous based on life and fire risk than the existing construction. So, nabanggit na kanina sa section 401 ang different types of construction. Kaya naman sinasabi sa section 402 na once na-approve na yung type of construction na gagawin, like for example, if it is a fire resistive or a wood construction, is hindi na pwede baguhin or palitan pa. Unless nga kung yung new proposed construction natin is less hazardous kumpara sa naunang building construction, mari pa itong i-consider na maipabago or ma-approve na ating building officials.
The last part of this chapter is section 403, requirements on type of construction. The Secretary shall prescribe standards for each type of construction and promulgate rules and regulations. So yung mga requirements on type of constructions are relating to structural framework, exterior walls and openings, interior walls and enclosures, floors, exits, and stair construction and roofs. So yung mga na-mentions ko are basic requirements enable for us to make a plans sa isang building or isang bahay na dapat meron yung mga bagay na yon, just like the exits, exterior or interior, and roofs, something like that. And building codes are the minimum designs, and the importance of these types of construction requirements are to ensure safe and resilient structures. They establish a foundation for product, vision, scope, cost, and schedule, and they ultimately must target finished product based on the quality and the performances. In short, under this section, the secretary are responsible or prescribe all the standards requirements needed. So enable for us to follow what is the rules and regulations.
So that is all for today's presentation. Thank you for listening.